Welcome back to another spill drop tutorial. Today, I'm just going to be showing you some very basic building components that you can use in your future bases. So we're going to do a peek down using this pretty basic single door frame window type vibe here. What you're going to want to do is get a square foundation, half high wall, floor frame, just like so. Can't really soft side this because there's not really a side that's soft on it. Go ahead and put in some roof triangles here. All right, the way that this is laid out currently, can't pass through or around this roof. Even from outside, there's no way to push yourself into this doorway. So no door is needed to secure it. You've got angles straight down to either side and above, but you've got a little bit of protection from straight on. If you wanted to make this more temporary, what you could do is you could make this frame out of wood. Then just with incendiary ammo or a flamethrower, you could burn it out. Some peek downs don't really give you that really tight angle up against the base. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. If you wanted to make this into honeycomb, you could add a foundation and some low walls here. That still gives you angles from below, but it prevents people from getting all the way up under that doorway. You can get pretty freaky with these as long as you know what you're doing. And I like the half high wall floor frames on these. It gives you just some pretty unique opportunities for placing these roof tiles. I've got this interesting turret pod concept. It looks something like this from the outside, and as you approach you can see that it's doing its job. Let's go ahead and turn these off so you can get another good look at them. So these turrets are sort of nestled underneath these triangular shaped roof tiles that are placed down. If you look at the anatomy, you can see that there is a triangular floor frame placed a half wall below the turrets, and then these triangular roofs are placed on top to seal them in, like so. That requires you to place these turrets before you put down the roofs, because once the roofs are down, those turrets are not going to be able to be placed. If your turrets are placed too far back towards that single door, they won't shoot. If they're too far forward, you won't be able to reach them from behind back in here. Now, for example, you'll see on this side that you have full access to this turret from inside your base. Once you've got your turrets placed, everything lined up the way you want, you slap these roofs down and upgrade them, then you've got a really unique way to protect the majority of the body of your turret, all while giving you the ability to access them from back here from the inside. Just a kind of a unique way to lay these out, and I'll show you very quickly how you can build a similar design into your existing honeycomb. Alright, so this is what normal honeycomb would look like. So triangular honeycomb on a square foundation. You're going to want to go ahead and put down some door frames in here, the extra stability. You don't have to fence in your turrets like I've done here. If you don't have that blueprint, you can just leave these empty and you can add the fences later. It does have an impact on the accuracy of your turrets, so certainly something to keep in mind. The most important step of the process is this one here. You want to make sure that your turrets are placed correctly, because if they're placed incorrectly, they won't work at all. And you want the arrow that's pointing towards you, facing the back of the turret, to line up with just the inside edge on the back of the foundation tile. So you'll see the way I'm placing it here, just in front of my feet there. You want the inner portion of it to be just over the edge of that floor tile, like that. I'll show you an example. If you place it just a little too far there, it's going to have an effect on the functionality of this turret. In just a moment, you'll see what I mean. Let's go ahead and keep this twig. Go ahead and get your triangles down here. You can take these out now once they're down. We're going to stick with twig for the time being. Nice, nice. All right, deauthorize on these ones manually. And let's get this up to wood temporarily, because sometimes these things will target you through twig. So get up to wood. You can still demo them just by destroying the little wood frames down below, but this way you're not expending a bunch of resources trying to test. Let's run around outside, see what it does. All right, so like I said, one of these is able to target me. The one that's too far back, this one right over here, it can't actually target anybody because too much of the actual turret itself is back behind the roof. If you're having trouble getting your turrets to target you or function the way that they should, then you may need to break the roofs in front of them just by breaking these frames, and then place the turret slightly further forward. Pop it down in here, make sure you've got it placed correctly, so push it center and then all the way up like that. Put these down again to get our floor frames, and then we'll do our roof triangles here up to wood once again, just to make sure that they're working the way that they should. Let's go ahead and test these now. We've got both of these turrets on. We've moved this one a little bit further forward on its triangle, so it should be pushed out just in front of that roof there, enough to target us. And sure enough, you can see that both turrets are activating and targeting me, so that means we can go ahead and get these upgraded to either stone or to metal, depending on, you know, what you want the eventual build to be made out of. But yeah, so that's how you build these little turret pods into your existing base. It's kind of an interesting way to protect the turrets while still giving you access to the refill and repair functions of owning turrets. It could be a good turret parent, all while still having the functionality that you'd expect. And now, whether you want to do just the half-high wall to seal this all in, or if you want to do the roofs like I had on this design over here, it's really up to you. I think it looks good either way, but it gives you some concepts to work with, and we love good conceptual builds. One thing that I've seen people talking about lately is trying to fit the most furnaces into a single square. Now, this is something that might be useful for people who are starting out with pretty big groups, but are having a hard time getting their start on a server. So let's say, for example, you've got a little 1x1 in your base like this that you want to turn into a furnace room. Let's go ahead and start by getting these walls upgraded to stone and get the hard side facing in. It's going to give you the largest amount of workable space in this 1x1 possible. Now, get yourself some furnaces, and you're going to want to go ahead and try to get one lined up as much in the center of this square as you can. It may help to work with just the regular stone floor, as it has a little bit of a better grid for this. So get it lined up there as far up against the wall as you can, and as centered in this square as it can be as well, like that. Now you're going to want to be able to place these ones on either side, so you may have to kind of mess with it until you can squeeze these guys in like that. All right, so that's a pretty good layer right there, and now you're just going to want to go ahead and make sure that you line these all up just the same exact way. And there should be just a touch of overlap on some of these. You'll notice some of them will stick out a little bit further than others. That gives you an idea for how well you placed the initial ones. Now go ahead and squeeze this last one in as far up against these as you can. That's like that, and like that. All right, that is 9 low-grade furnaces slapped into a tasty little 1x1, and pretty easy to do as long as you've got the hard side walls still accessible, which means you're going to want to do this within 10 minutes of putting down your TC, or 10 minutes of placing these walls initially. Because of course, if you wait beyond the 10 minutes after you've placed these stone walls to do this, then the only way to get them to turn back around once they've been turned and have waited out that timer is to upgrade them to the next material and then turn them around. If you didn't heed my warning and didn't turn these walls back around in time to their hard side facing out states, then you might have to sacrifice a little bit of your metal. Another cool thing you can store a lot of is these mixing tables here. Let's go ahead and add some cheeky cauldrons for the extra effect. We'll do boop, boop, boop. All right. Just like so. Pop a frame on there, get yourself something to stand on. And then always, always, always make sure you flip your walls back. You don't want them to be soft-sidable. But like so, you've got 3 mixing tables and 3 cauldrons squeezed into this tiny little spot. So you got an easy way to generate charcoal with a nice little ambient lighting effect, as well as a good way to mix the gunpowder that you're going to need to get deeper into your wipe using these mixing tables. Again, with these kind of like crammed spaces, sometimes those double doors are not the way to go. You can squeeze in just regular small boxes down underneath these as well, and they fit in under every one of these mixing tables very nicely, like so. You can even fit 4 if you're really creative. It does get a little tricky to reach some of them, so just keep that in mind. You could maybe even make a hallway out of these if you were so inclined. That'd give you access to this back box, but certainly not necessary unless you've got a lot of people in your base and they all want to use these mixing tables. And that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next video.